A wonderful good morning, ladies and gentlemen out there. This is the beginning sequence of the Ars Electronica Festival 2020. And on my left and on my right, I welcome two very important people who, together with me and our technical team, made it happen that we can start this, what we are currently studying. I may introduce you Veronika Liebl, enfant terrible of the Ars Electronica organization, festival team, and head of the European Union project, as well as head of the financial affairs and everything related. And on my right, it is Christl Baur, head of the festival, and she, together with Veronika, are mainly responsible for this vast and endless load of footage and partners that we may welcome in our network. And yeah, it is you out there, you are garden keepers of the Ars Electronica Festival network that I also want to welcome. I can imagine how exciting this is now for you. I hope it is also for you exciting as well as for us, because it is really something very strange that we are kicking off currently. Where is the grip? Where is the wind breathing against your face, where you feel the energy of a festival? It is a camera, a dark tunnel that I'm allowed to look in, but I assume out there all the network members are kicking off the same what we are kicking off. They are doing the Ars Electronica Festival together with us, and we greet you from here. Here is our studio, one of our studios, because Ars Electronica, the production team, transformed itself into media enterprise, into into a broadcasting team where we are parallel, where we do have parallel running 4 channels. This is the main channel, and then we have 3 other channels. Yeah. Here we are, and why we start in this round is actually a ritual that we wanted to establish as a service for you out there, mainly for the guests. We want to kick off every day from now on in doing a little bit of a wrap-up, what happened before, and giving a little bit of a forecast what is going to happen. It should also be a very informal morning circle round where we talking about anecdotes, and other semi and more important things. So, let's start.
Well, yeah, so the wrap-up is not the actual festival day, but it is
a little early.
The setup of this whole enterprise that we are currently running. And I think we should establish first also the place. We are in Linz, in our TV studio, but around us is actually a team working like busy bees on setting up our physical festival.
Indeed.
So it seems very calm, and here it definitely is not. And the place that we are here, the garden, our host garden, is the Kepler's garden in Linz, the Johannes Kepler University. And this is the origin of this title of gardens. And what we have here, besides all those online formats, besides all those partners around the world, we have a physical festival here for our local audience. And in the past days, we have been setting up this festival, this program, as you can see in the images. Beautiful, colorful artworks coming from Japan, coming from Yuri Suzuki.
Yes.
As part of a very important program that is the AIM Music Festival. We have a garden exhibition that is distributed not in actual dark spaces like usually media art, but it is outside in the park, under the sunlight, under potential rain. Let's not hope for it. Mm-hmm. And we have STARTS project, actually the best practice examples coming out of the STARTS Prize that are exhibited here. And besides this, last but not least, actually a wonderful collaboration with the Johannes Kepler University, where they have made a call to their faculty members to be part of that festival, to create their own projects between art and science and technology. And actually I'd like to introduce Christopher Lindninger, the Vice Rector of the Johannes Kepler University, who will say a couple of words about this collaboration.
Welcome to the Johannes Kepler University, the origin of Kepler's garden, and also one main physical location for this year's festival. My name is Christl Lindninger. I'm the Vice Rector for Innovation and Researchers at this university. Work is currently in full swing. The construction machines are still there and everything is being prepared for Ars Electronica. I'm especially pleased that there are several projects on display initiated by scientists of this university. Let me pick out two art and science projects which had been developed at the JKU Linz Institute of Technology. The first project is Pangolin Scales, and Pangolin Scales is a collaboration between the Institute for Integrated Circuits, the well-known fashion designer Anna Quibrecht, and the Austrian high-tech company GTEC. The project combines two dimensions. On the one hand, it's a fantastic fashion project. The dress responds to brainwaves, translating them into movement and into light. But there is a revolutionary technological innovation in it. The researchers have succeeded in creating a brain-computer interface with an extreme high number of electrodes. This is relevant for a wide range of application of brain-computer interfaces. Just think of the control of prosthesis. With previous solutions, it was possible to detect the movement of arms from the few sensor points. But with this new technology, it's even possible to recognize single finger movements. The JKU Science Park is one of the crystallization points of technological research here at the university. But during the festival, this is one of the biggest musical instruments ever shown at Ars Electronica. The Institute for Networks and Security has found a security loophole in the locking system of this building and managed to control all the doors in this building. This weakness is now being used to control the individual door closing mechanism as sound generators to develop a composition for the entire building. These were only two of many projects of the JKU Linz Institute of Technology demonstrating the innovative power of the university and the transdisciplinary approaches. We are looking forward to your visit at Johannes Kepler University campus this year, either real or virtual. Come here and get inspired by fascinating projects.
Yeah, thank you, Christl Lindninger, for this very, very interesting introduction into this transformation project, this collaboration between the local institutes and creative minds and artists from outside. It is really wonderful looking at the outcomes because, you know, I mean, it is actually balancing those two worlds, and, you know, the outcome on the one side ended up more on this engineering, scientific research world with the influence of artistical, critical thinking. But there is one specific project we wanted to highlight, and this is going to be introduced by Christl then, where we have a pure, solid and wonderful art piece as an outcome, which is remarkable, and that's why we would like to show you this.
It is a collaboration actually of two people. One of them is a scientist, the other one is more design related, and they started working together in order to transform this idea and this context of random numbers into something physical, into something visible. And I can only assume that this is not the easiest thing, but this best practice example coming out of this connection between the LIT projects and Ars Electronica, we don't want to keep from you, so please show us a little insight.
The transparency of randomness gives an insight into the world of random numbers and highlights the significance of randomness in current mathematical and physical research. There are an endless number of digits behind the decimal point of pi. Did you know it can be approximated by simply using a large set of random numbers? The more random numbers are available, the more precise this approximation is. Go left. Now right. Left again. Now 2 steps up. 1 right, then 1 down. This apparent wandering based on a huge amount of random numbers is the fundamental basis for many scientific computations. The so-called random walk is used, for example, to calculate the movement of bacteria in liquids. 27 transparent boxes floating in space continuously generate random numbers by using the well-known medium of the dice. Structure and complexity of natural materials are influencing this process. Here at JKU Linz at the Institute for Theoretical Physics, our research focuses on quantum mechanical phenomena found in many body systems. Path integral Monte Carlo methods are used to stimulate the behavior of interacting atoms. This would not be possible without the fascinating field of random numbers. Immerse yourself into the world of randomness and become an active part of the installation.
Isn't that a wonderful piece? I would say yes, and it is just one out of many, many very interesting projects that in our Kepler's garden here in Linz are going to be exhibited. From Friday on until Sunday, tickets are still available. But now to another major program, also in form of a materialized exhibition. It is the STARTS exhibition and the entire STARTS initiative. The STARTS exhibition actually is very close to the transformation projects that Christopher Lindninger introduced right before. But more from this angle of the arts perspective. It is the proof actually which nature outcomes might have coming from collaborations between the science, between the industries and the arts. And it is also, who else, Veronika Liebl, who is during the year that driving force for this STARTS initiative and the spokeswoman behind and before it, and she will give us an introduction and an insight into this wonderful program.
Exactly. So again, this year already for the 5th consecutive time, we're presenting the outstanding outcomes from STARTS, in particular the STARTS Prize. STARTS is an initiative from the European Commission to honor innovation at the nexus of art, science and technology. Each year, we're awarding prizes to grant prizes and several nominations and honorary mentions together with Baur, the Center for Fine Arts in Brussels, and Baur in Amsterdam. This year we have the grant prizes, of course, exhibited here, as well as several outstanding practices. And I would invite you now to actually look into some of the projects represented this year in the STARTS Prize.
wonderful video, wonderful exhibition. But we're not talking about starts. Does not necessarily mean that we are just talking about an exhibition. Starts is actually an attitude. No, an attitude insofar that in the last years we dedicated days in the festival towards different topics, and starts as an ideology, so to speak, is also one.
Exactly. So each year, and you as Ars Electronica do know this already, so we are presenting each year a whole conference day dedicated to the topic of starts. We'll actually kick off today the festival with the Starts Day, and you can follow the whole conference program today on the New World channel of Ars Electronica. We are presenting actually different discursive programs, also a part of the presentations of the grand prize winners of the two categories of Starts Prize from the artists Olga Kiseleva and Andrea Ling. We are also going to present networking sessions, so you do have the chance also to interact, and please follow also our YouTube channels in case you want to ask questions and interact with panelists. The Starts Day today will have a really broad spectrum of different topics. We will actually kick off the Starts Day with a focus on art thinking, first from 4 different European organizations, and then lead over to the topic of humanizing technology. Later today we are going to present and also the projects and outcomes from the Linz Institute of Technology, so from this core and project we already spoke about. Then we will have actually prepared a whole exhibition tour for you, so we will guide you through the exhibition here in the Kepler's Gardens of the Starts Prize 2020, and we will ask Reframe, which is a lighthouse project of Starts, to present also their panel on fashion technology and responsibility. We are closing this Starts Day with a panel on art tech for urban resilience, and a short closure and recap of the research done on the Starts Prize during the last 5 years from a researcher called Enlighten.
Thank you, Veronika. It's going to be for sure an intense and wonderful, inspiring and interesting program. But now to something a little bit more technical. The festival that we have been preparing, and I think it happened a little bit with us, became one of the biggest ever. Not biggest in materialized projects all over the city, the biggest insofar that it is an unbelievable network that we activated there. Thinking or looking at the point of view of the visitor, please apologize. It happened to us. There might be something important out there embedded in the question that we raised, that all the partners that we were asking immediately jumped on this boat, and now we are here. And it is, yes, a nightmare for you out there to organize yourselves in this endless programs that we offer. But for sure, as a festival organization, we try to offer several portals, several ways to make this festival to your own festival, and we dedicate the rest of this session actually to reach your hand and help you to organize yourself.
Exactly. So basically, it may look like a nightmare, but it is feasible to navigate through our program, definitely. And the next couple of tips are really recommendations from our team to navigate through these online programs, through the vast majority of the programs on the different channels of Ars Electronica. First, to start with, obviously we recommend, of course, if you want to get an insight into the programs in general, to start with the website. There you find actually first an entry door to all the live programs happening currently. So you can navigate through whatever is currently live. You can also go to the 4 channels, which will come back also during this session again. Then you have a window to all the gardens. So there is a section on our website summarizing all the gardens, and you will find their contents and also the schedule programs on there. A tip I would recommend you directly is actually also to filter through tags. So we have prepared a couple of tags for you. They are summarizing not only programs of Ars Electronica, but they are also summarizing some of the most important contents we are representing this year in the festival, including also the subtopics like ecology, uncertainty, and democracy. You can simply search through this or filter with the tag on the starting page of the website. Then, of course, we will have a huge representation also on our social media channels. In particular, we are streaming live on Facebook, several selected contents, and you can follow us whenever you want also on Instagram and Twitter and get in touch with our staff there. So there are many, many people currently working behind the scenes, also getting responses to you and communicating with you there. I would also warmly welcome to use our hashtag Ars Electronica 20, and if you want to see what not only we but the whole world is currently talking about Ars Electronica 20, please go to the website walls.io/Ars Electronica, and you can check out the whole representation of what is actually currently posted out there. Quite important, obviously, is YouTube in this whole scenario of online programs. We are streaming, obviously, everything live on our website, but also through our YouTube channels. There is a total of 5 hosted YouTube channels from Ars Electronica, and they are also moderated. So there are a couple of live sessions, obviously, during the next 5 days, and a couple is probably an underestimation. So you have plenty of chances to get in touch with our staff, but also with the gardens. So they will also follow these YouTube channels and see how they can respond to your question. In case you're still interested in further interactive programs of Ars Electronica, there are still a couple of spots left for guided tours and workshops. I would warmly recommend you to check out the web program for the We Guide You online tours, as well as for the remaining spots of our workshop sessions. I would hand over to Christl for an introduction maybe to the channels of Ars Electronica.
I think now we should jump quickly into the virtual world.
Yes.
Before we go into before we are explaining our channel system, because the virtual world is also that we think a portal, a very important portal, and a very interesting portal that we prepared you, and it fits perfectly to what Veronika said. It is another alternative way. It is Mozilla Hubs, a rather new software, open source software from Mozilla, actually funded for companies who would create a twin or an extension for their own sake, for the entities, also whatever. We are collaborating here with 2 very interesting guys from Germany who were stressing and utilizing this tool already for the purpose, for the context of theaters. So what you see here is actually our departure hall, the departure hall of the Ars Electronica. It's the second room after you in the virtual world would enter the lobby, the foyer of the Ars Electronica Center. So there is the door on the right side where you go in the deep space, you go downstairs to the big exhibition, and everything is like in reality, but where normally the lockers are, there is a new portal, a portal into the internet, into Mozilla Hubs. And during the summer we have designed a world inside there, a rather cool world, but also a world where people would be able to again organize themselves, find some spots where to go, and then travel to this place. Here you see the map and the map with the many spots where we have partners. So if you would push one of those thumbnails, you would go deeper and closer to the contents, whether it is a website or whatever format. Mozilla Hubs, I think, is going to be a very interesting tool, especially in the dimension how we are utilizing this. It is really challenging, I have to say. But for those who are not familiar with that, maybe you remember Second Life. It was, I think, 2005 and 6. That was the first try. All right, but now give it a try. Have a look there. It is, besides helping you understand the structure of the upcoming festival, it is a funky experience, I have to say. It is cool area. It reminds me a little bit to the ego shooter scenarios that I have played in my early days. But now to Christl, because another tool, and we see this as a tool, is actually what we are doing here. Yes. We are representing one channel. It is the selection channel, the channel 1, and Christl will explain a little bit what it's all about.
Well, the selection channel is actually the one that gives you the overview of what is happening not just here in Linz, but around the world. This is the channel where you travel around the world, especially every full hour for 15 minutes. It is kind of like a news format where you get a very brief but very quick information on what is currently happening in Tokyo, in Moscow, in Los Angeles, or Buenos Aires. If you follow those first 15 minutes, you can then continue into the other channels where you can then watch and follow longer programs, panels, exhibition tours, performances, or guided tours. And then we have the new World channel, where a big part of the program is coming out of Ars Electronica context, where we, for example, host the Starts Day, where we have also many other partners represented that are working with us in this context of AI and music. The next channel is called Gardens channel. This is really representing all of our partner gardens around the world. We will show you the program that they thankfully organizing for us and that we can broadcast to all of you. The last channel is called Journeys, Voyages. And here we actually commissioned interesting artists with artworks because they cannot come to us. Here you see the artworks, the videos that came out of those collaborations. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. And we are here in Channel 1, and I will be your moderator in the next hours. And I, as a moderator, say thank you to my wonderful colleagues and guests. They are representing, by the way, ambitious, powerful, creative team that is, a new category of being wonderful. They are sitting parallel, pushing the channels, operating the channels on the one side. So we call them we call them travel agents. And there is another part of the team that is currently preparing the physical exhibitions, the place, the garden that we are actually here. And they are our garden keepers. Thank you, ladies. I wish you a good day. I see you later.